We also have in our reserve things like the capability to do OnStar, which allows you to communicate with the vehicle. Our fuel cell fleet that is currently operating in different parts of the United States has effectively data recorders on them as well. We will leverage, again, as part of General Motors, some of that technology here, and we will use that to help solve problems during development as we are, monitoring the black box in the vehicle, not to mention maybe beyond that. The OnStar also gives us the opportunity, and I'd be interested afterwards in getting some of your feedback. We've used the term internally to provide you with green mail to tell you how your performance is, how many kilowatt hours were used, how much CO2 was avoided, to allow the community of Volt people in the future to share this information, to find out better ways to drive their vehicle, tips and the like. We think this is a great opportunity for us, so we're certainly looking at those types of entities as the others that you have mentioned. We're also working with the electric companies. There are too many to mention to work with, so that's a difficult challenge relative to other communications and like, but suffice it to say, that's other areas we're developing. And some of the things you may not see in the first generation of the Volt in the very first year, because you know the challenge that Frank and the team laid out relative to getting the battery right, but we do believe the Volt will be a franchise, if you will, that will build upon for more technology ideas and ideas that naturally flow into an electric-driven advanced technology vehicle.
Thank you. Good luck.
Hi, the name's Rob Neighbor. I'm a member of the Electric Vehicle Association of Washington, D.C. and an airline pilot. You can say I'm definitely a gadget freak. You're sitting on probably the biggest gadget I've seen in a while. It looks like something I definitely want to have. I'm also an 8-vehicle driver, of which 3 are electric vehicles, battery electrics, and 2 of which are GM conversions. I'm rather proud of that. I just want you to know that every one of us here who we consider ourselves early adopters are really rooting for you guys to come off with an American product that has the technology that we hope we'll see in a production vehicle. My question for you is, how can we help you make the Volt succeed? How can we ensure that we have the sales that we need to drive a product to give a profit for GM, because that is, after all, what we need. One of the things that's occurred to us in our electric vehicle club is broadening the interest in it. One guy suggested giving it to a couple customizers, making sure it shows up at SEMA to try to get the youth involved. And another idea that I think is really captivating is yanking the gas engine and coming up with an all-electric version only for substantial less money. Might also enhance its capability to be sold, maybe a Volt E or something down that line. The other option, of course, would be a different size battery pack. I just wondered if that had been considered by your team, Frank, and thank you all for coming and sitting in front of us. That takes a lot of guts, you guys, to stand up here in front of a bunch of guys like us. Thank you.
The first part, though, I think it's, first of all, there's nothing better. We are absolutely thrilled to have so many advocates for one of our products and one of our concepts out there, and we have found, obviously, the best way to generate interest is word of mouth. And all of you, as you begin to tell others, as people find out about it on Lyle's site and different things, as we do national advertising, we're advertising the Volt. You've seen our Hum commercial. Really, I think a very, very well done version of, what the future is for all of us. It's going to be really important in terms of how we're going to sell more. The word of mouth advocates that we have for this product, spreading that word, it's probably the number one thing that we can do. Obviously, shows like SEMA, auto shows, and different things like this are also great for us to showcase and get more interest in it. We're getting a tremendous amount of hits. I mean, I know Lyle's getting a lot of hits on his site. We added the Fuel Solutions, portion to the Chevy.com site, and the hits have been just out of this world, and especially on Volt. And so we're going to continue to do a lot of those types of things to stimulate interest along the way. And I think all of you, I think it's very important that we keep you in the loop in terms of the product developments, what's happening, what's going on, so you're right with us and can really spread that word. Because I think that's the number one way for a vehicle to be successful and to sell a lot of them. And Fred, go ahead and take the second one.
The other piece was, have you considered something that is Volt E? The priority is very clear for this program. We wanted to establish a totally new propulsion category. And it is very important that we make this propulsion category as appealing as possible to a majority of people. I'm not saying that there might be options later to do E only, but what we clearly learned is people in the beginning want to be convinced that this is something that is as practical, but it is saving fuel, it is actually avoiding emissions, and I don't even see the engine. But I think it is critical in this first stage to establish this extended range vehicle as a concept, and you get this foot into the door of electrification and help the individual customer to make this transition. I know that there are people who say, I'm more radical, you can go with me a step further. I think it is important to do the right step for the majority of people and establish this category, and therefore this is also the priority at this point in time. What I want to do at this point in time, don't be disappointed, we will be here with you. But what I want to do is that Lyle is introducing a special guest this evening to you. We will be available for you, don't worry. We can take questions and answers after this, but before we do this and continue with questions and answers, please introduce a special guest for us.
Yes, hi. I have the honor and privilege tonight of introducing someone that's going to be able to take a couple more questions for you. Certainly knows some of the answers. The Vice Chairman of General Motors, Bob Lutz.
Well, this is indeed a pleasure. I guess this mic is working, so. I just want to say this is a great thrill for me personally, and I think for the whole team at General Motors that's working on this car. A great reinforcement for us to see the level of enthusiasm from all corners of the nation. I understand there's people here that came from very far away. And Dr. Lyle, I really would like to thank you for being kind of the focal point or the collecting point for channeling all of this enthusiasm, which we feel internally for this car. I know I've said it a million times, but this vehicle was born of the enthusiasm and the quest for game-changing technology among a few of us at General Motors who had perhaps the noble motive of eliminating fossil fuel and so forth, perhaps the less noble motive of kicking Toyota in the teeth. But it sort of all worked together to where, my initial thought was a pure electric vehicle, and for a variety of reasons that we didn't see that working real well. And then John Lochner sort of said, well, what if we had an electric drive train, but with a backup piston engine in case and that turned out to be just the winning formula. And I can't tell you how excited I am about this car. To me, people say, well, what's the highlight of your career? Since I've been in the business for 45 years, and I say I haven't the highlight yet because the Volt isn't out yet. So we consider this a turning point in the automobile industry as we really, as the industry works to meet government fuel economy mandates and CO2 mandates. Folks, there is no other way to get there other than the electrification of the automobile. And I think this car, when we bring it out, it will go down in history as a true game changer. So we thank you for your tremendous support. I think as a group, we sense the energy coming from Volt Nation, and it certainly motivates and propels us to get it to market in great shape, doing everything we said it was going to do, and on time. So thank you very much, sir.
Thank you so much. Great introduction. Anyone want to ask a question of the Vice Chair?
Perfect, actually. Mr. Lutz, nice to see you. My name is Josh Davidson. And I'm interested to know how the Volt is going to change the institution of General Motors so that innovation of this kind can continue to emanate from the corporation in the future, particularly after certain senior members of the executive team may leave the company.
Well, I don't know who you might be talking about, but I would say, 4 or 5 years ago, that might have been a legitimate question.